I believe with the advent of AI, it's kind of maybe revealing to us that we live in a kind of digital fractal universe. Like, we decode light codes of information, don't we, of data. Everything seems to be noughts and ones, on and off, oscillation. So I was musing upon, the fact that we know that, well, you should know that signs and symbols rule the world. And I believe that that's what that green scrolling code metaphor was about in the movie The Matrix. The fact that that's how we decode our reality. On the quantum level, unbeknownst to us, that's going on. We're kind of decoding reality that way, aren't we? But also, I believe that if we look at our human life and the world stage, we can see representations of symbols and signs that we can decode using the Philosopher's Stone. I was just thinking about how in the movie The Matrix, how they use the green scrolling code as, the way that we decode reality, or that they decoded reality in the movie, obviously, in their computer simulation reality. In this world, it shouldn't be green scrolling code, it should be purple scrolling code. Because if you think about it, two of the main colours that we always see represented by the Matrix is red and blue, isn't it? You have that with politics, especially in the Western world. It's all over my flag, red and blue, and the American flag. I guess Australia's flag's got it on it, and I can't remember the other flags of the world because they don't matter, obviously. It's there's red and blue with the emergency services, on the sirens, the boys in blue, thin blue line, the fire station, and fire engines are red, aren't they? And then obviously the sirens are red and blue on top of those vehicles, emergency service vehicles. And that's all to do with the 3D reality, isn't it? And how do I know that? What colour are 3D glasses? Well, I don't know if they're that colour now. I've not been to see a movie in 3D yet, so I don't know what colours they utilise on the lenses. But I'm talking about the ones that are around in the 60s. the red and blue lenses that bring everything into a 3D holographic illusion. The green scrolling code in the movie The Matrix should have actually been purple, because that's the colour that red and blue make. And what a representation of this system and matrix that we are in. So what's to say? I mean, why do you have secret societies? And usually part of the operation of those things, those networks, are to keep knowledge about certain things unavailable to people who aren't a part of the club or aren't initiated to certain degrees of the hierarchy within the club. So what kind of knowledge do they hold maybe knowledge about past cycles that we've been through, past great year cycles. And maybe knowledge on some of the architect that was around at that time. That looks like it was part of something. Maybe part of the old castle that's just fell from the top. So yeah, I think we're only given kind of a superficial view of historical information, if that makes any sense. And maybe a lot of the things that we're told that happened didn't happen and they're just stories. So it's not like we can go back in time and see for ourselves, is it? So we take a lot of what we've been told at face value. I don't know, there seems to be just people that have spawned out of this kind of matrix simulation. Like, well, we hear of the NPC idea, don't we? And I think they're there to kind of make us realise this life isn't what it seems. And we're all on our individual journeys, kind of going through the hallways of this labyrinth and trying to level up through this labyrinth, rather than let's all get together in a community and fight the power, you know, rage against the machine. It's not going to be like that at all. It's like, if anything, it's about waking people up as individuals to get the hell out of this place, or to get the hell out of, well, you're never going to get out of this place. It's not going to be like the Truman Show at the end of that, where he walks up them steps and exits the studio kind of thing. Well, it could be, you never know. We'll leave that open. There's a possibility. But it's more like a kind of an inner space that we cultivate, like a 5D or high vibrational state of non-attachment to the machinations of this matrix, the external mundane metered matrix, as I like to call it. Realizing it doesn't have as much power over us as we might think it does. But as I say, it's about shedding these layers within us by diving deep within ourselves, letting go of these deep-seated fears of survival and security and things like that, to cultivate this lightness of being that kind of hovers above the density and the heaviness of this system that's in place, and the people that kind of play a role within it, and the NPCs and things like that. And it's not to hate NPCs or even hate the elite. I mean, do you hate a tick? I mean, well, that might not be the best example. I mean, a tick's going to be a tick, isn't it? A mosquito's going to be a mosquito at the end of the day. Can you blame it for being that when it's designed that way and it does what it needs to do to survive? That's how we've kind of got to look at the elite. They don't have that capacity for empathy for others. They are basically like a tick in human form. And you've kind of got to see it for what it is and not hate, because it's only there because not enough of the population has kind of gone within to find where they might be a tick or a vampire in their nature. I mean, we've all kind of got aspects to us that are unconscious, maybe, still. I guess so, because we wouldn't be here if we didn't have stuff to be working on, let's face it. So it is kind of looking at the darkness within us, the shadow within us,
Where is our neediness? Where is our kind of looking outside of ourselves for security and to feel whole and to feel complete and things like that?
And red and blue are also the colours of hot and cold, aren't they? And basically they're the two temperatures or climates of this Earth, aren't they, really, if you think about it? It's either a warm climate or a cold climate. And then, like, with pole shifts that go on, obviously, yeah, you've got the red and blue on a magnet as well, haven't you? But when there are pole shifts going on, you get fluctuations of hot and cold weather patterning that become, they say, more closer in frequency or higher in frequency. And I've noticed that with our weather, like in the summer it's been brutally hot, like for England, and then in the winter we've had like brutal kind of wintry storms. I've noticed that, like, just extremes in the weather, and they seem to be happening on a higher frequency. So that is an indicator that we may be going through a pole shift as well.